I rarely visit Derby city centre, but on a recent trip, something unexpected made me pause and truly reflect on the city's layered past. Usually, I drive along Full Street on my way to park near the Quad Cinema without giving much thought to my surroundings. But this time, something caught my eye. The striking equestrian statue of Bonnie Prince Charlie on his horse. He's also known as Charles Edward Stuart, standing proudly on Full Street. The statue, sculpted by Anthony Stones, was cast in bronze and mounted on a sandstone plinth. It was unveiled in December 1995 to commemorate a significant historical event. I stood there for a moment, admiring its detail and asking myself, why is this statue here? Then it dawned on me, this is the southernmost point reached by Bonnie Prince Charlie during the Jacobite Rising of 1745. In 1745, Charles Edward Stuart launched a bold campaign to reclaim the British throne for the House of Stuart. After landing in Scotland and rallying Highland clans, he led a Jacobite army southward, hoping to gain support from the English sympathisers and French allies. At about 11 a.m. on the 4th of December, two officers from Bonnie Prince Charlie's army arrived in Derby to demand billets for their men. The army followed, gathering in the marketplace. The decision to stop in Derby marked a pivotal moment in British history. Estimates of the number of men in the Prince's army vary from 5,000 to 9,000. But as the population of Derby in 1745 was barely 6,000, the arrival of the Highlanders with a different dress and Gaelic language must have made an considerable impression. The Mayor of Derby, Robert Haig, and aldermen fled the town, fearing they would be taken prisoner. But the townsfolk were cautiously welcoming and lit bonfires and rang bells. At first, all seemed to bode well for Bonnie Prince Charlie in Derby. He was only 126 miles from London, and news had reached him that more support had arrived in Scotland, with the landing of Lord John Drummond at Montrose, with 1,000 Irish and Scottish troops paid for by the French. Further French support was promised. On the evening of December the 4th, Bonnie Prince Charlie had every reason to be optimistic, and the fact that an advance party secured Swogston Bridge on the main road to London shows there was as of yet no thought of retreat. But on December the 5th, a local tax raised nearly £3,000 for the prince. But during the day, worrying news reached the Duke of Perth. Captain Dudley Broadstreet, who had just travelled to Derby, said that the Duke of Cumberland's army of 8,000 was already at Lichfield, with Richmond's army of 9,000 nearby, and Langnor's army that was at Northampton. This information altered the prospect of a military success for the prince. It now seemed the Highlanders were outnumbered and their path to London blocked. During their short 2-day stay, the Jacobite command set up headquarters at Exeter House, a prominent Georgian mansion that once stood on Full Street. It was here that Charles held a council of war, debating the next move to push on forward towards London or retreat. At a council meeting at Exeter House, Bonnie Prince Charlie's officers, in particular the commander Lord George Murray, strongly advised an immediate retreat. They thought they would be more likely to succeed when the French support had joined them. Charles did not agree and felt bitter and betrayed because he was forced to retreat by the lack of support from his staff. His own words tell his disappointment and disillusionment. In future, I shall summon no more councils, since I am accountable to nobody for my actions, but to God and to my Father, and therefore I shall no longer either ask or accept advice. The most bitter irony of all was the information from Bradstreet was false. On the 5th of December, the Duke of Cumberland was, in fact, still 5 miles outside of Coventry. Had Bonnie Prince Charlie pressed quickly onto London, he might have succeeded after all. It was not to be. The decision to retreat, once taken, was swiftly carried out. Before dawn on the 6th of December, under cover of darkness, the Highland army began to leave Derby. By 11 a.m., all were gone. It was to prove a turning point in every sense for the rebellion and Prince Charlie's fortunes. It was a moment of doubt and retrieve that would spell the doom for the rebellion. A few months later, in April 1746, the Jacobites were crushed at the Battle of Culloden. Exeter House was later demolished in 1854. In its place, the Magistrates' Court was built in 1935. This closed in 2004, and a building 9 serves as Riverside Chambers, a modern office space. But the echoes of history still linger. Other parts of Derby also carry traces of this dramatic episode. The Bell Inn in Sallygate. During the uprising, Bonnie Prince Charlie's troops were billeted here. The inn played a role in housing and organising the army, and it awaited orders. The George Inn, now Jorrocks. This historic inn served as the base for Derbyshire's Blues, a local militia raised in response to the Jacobite threat. The building still stands today, though it has changed names over the years. At the Derby Museum and Art Gallery, a special collection commemorates this brief but intense moment in the city's history. Amongst the exhibits is original wood panelling from Exeter House, the very room where the Council of War was held. A more personal story also survives. Samuel Ward, a young Derby boy, was selected to be Bonnie Prince Charlie's food taster during the Prince's stay. As a token of thanks, Charles gave Samuel's mother a diamond ring, which is now part of a museum's collection. Standing on Full Street, looking up at the statue, I felt a rare connection to the past, a sense of standing at the very crossroads of history. The Jacobites never did reach London, but for a brief moment, Derby became the heart of a rebellion that might have changed Britain forever. Sometimes all it takes is stopping for a moment to realize the stories our city quietly holds. So I do hope you enjoyed this segment of history about Derby. So if you want to know more about Derby, why not subscribe to this YouTube channel? Thank you for watching.